Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast, the Project Investigation Collaboration brought to you by the Veritas Project. And as always, we're here with our gracious host and founder of the Veritas Project. I can't talk this week, I guess. Robert Wiggy Bob Curtis.
Hello.
And I'm lead investigator Todd Boyer. And welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Yeah, welcome in.
Oh, so what's going on in local news, Bob?
It's cold.
Yeah, it's freaking cold.
It's
It
supposed
is
to
way
snow
cold.
a lot.
How's the new job? New job good?
Good. It's really good.
Right on.
It's a lot more laid back environment.
That's
I
awesome.
like the people I work with.
That's good. Oh boy. I don't have anything really going on. I'm just working on that other book and just hitting the gym. I'm actually down 7 pounds in 2 weeks, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, all right.
So I got a little fluffy.
Yeah.
I got a little fluffy this fall. I kind of slacked on eating right and all that stuff, so I got a little fluffy this fall. So,
Yeah.
we had a comment in the TikTok said apparently it's not cold enough because Todd is sleeveless. Because Todd went to the gym and Todd didn't bother to change after going to the gym. That's why Todd is sleeveless. Bob is like bundled up over here.
It's cold.
I'm cold. Don't. I'm not going to deny it. I'm
cold.
cold, and my jacket is just too heavy to kind of wear some days.
Yeah.
For the podcast. So, we in local news, Bob has had great success with one of the shorts we have going on. So he put out a short where we talked about the GATE program. Mm-hmm. So Bob and I were both in GATE, and the more I thought about it and the more I sat down and tried to remember, I do remember doing the sound stuff. I don't remember any picture stuff.
Okay.
So so we did do that kind of stuff. But then Bob and I sat here just a little bit ago and had a conversation about, what kind of stuff we learned in GATE, what kind of stuff we did in GATE.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through and we're going to take a deep dive into the GATE program.
Yeah.
So this is definitely an interesting one for you Gen Xers that remember
Right.
being in the GATE program, because that one short that Bob made about it, there is a ton of likes and a bunch of people saying,
views and 600 something likes.
a bunch of people are like, I remember that. And other people are like, oh, this is a hearing test.
Yeah, they keep saying that it's hearing test. They play a tone, you raise your hand. I'm like,
Nope.
Did I say anything about raising my hand?
No.
Nope. They played tones that sounded like it was like a different vibration kind of thing, and there was like the ocean over the top of it, so you couldn't really tell what you were listening to. Mm-hmm. And then they had a projector, and it would play, like they would put like an image, like a slideshow image, and they would say, what do you think about this image? What's going on in this image? Who is this person? Who do you think this person is? Things like that.
Right.
And it was weird. And the lady who was administering the test, sometimes she would be like, just focus on this picture and just, kind of contemplate what's going on. Mm-hmm. And then she's writing stuff down. I didn't even say anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, what are you writing? What is going on over there? You know what I'm saying? I didn't say anything. So it was just weird stuff like that. And like I said, the one picture I expressly remember it was two parents and their son who was graduating. He's got his cap and gown on. And she's like, what do you think is going on in this picture? And I was like, well, he's just graduated. He's thinking his whole life is ahead of him. And he's going to, one of his things that he's focusing on is he wants to buy a new car when he graduates. And I thought, why? That's so weird. I don't visualize that, but in my mind, that's what I'm thinking.
That's what you're thinking, yeah.
And when I looked at her notepad, it had a picture of a car on it.
Right.
So I was like, that's weird.
And we were discussing how, the difference is the difference between the different things they did in the GATE programs for the different schools. Because originally the GATE programs were set up individually by the schools.
Right.
But then the governments would come into individual classrooms or pick certain schools to go above and beyond the normal gifted and talented. Tweak it. We did a lot. Now, Bob and I were just talking about this beforehand. we did a lot of logic puzzles.
Yeah.
A ton of logic puzzles. Like
That was
an
our-
absolutely crud load of them.
Right, and we had ones that you would take like on the the little purple thing, was it like Scantron or whatever you're talking about? Like it was like a mimeograph. Before they had a copier, they had these.
And
things.
they had that smell to them,
right? and it was like a cube, and then it had like phrases at the top, and then like the solutions were at the bottom, and then you tried to figure out like how we got from here to here, you know, and it was all these different things. And like my school, it was all in Russian. And you said yours was in German.
Yeah, well, we learned German. That was one of the things that we did, is we learned German.
And we were trying to learn. They were trying to teach us how to read Russian, basically. What was going on.
We learned German and learned how to program computers.
Yeah, we did that too. Like I said,
So
that was like the thing that stuck in my mind was the go to 10, you know, thing. Like,
so the logic puzzles we had were like, Jimmy came in second in the race.
yeah,
If Susie passed Jimmy and Dave did this and Bob did that, who came in what place?
Yeah.
And you had the lines like first, second, third place, and then you had the names, and you had to go, okay, well, if that person was in second, then nobody else was in second. And if this person came in after this person, well, then they couldn't be first.
Right.
So you had to break it down. And we started with little ones. But by the time I was out, we were doing like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 across.
Yeah.
Like we were doing the ones that took up the whole sheet.
right.
Like crazy logic puzzles, like ridiculously big ones. Like I probably couldn't do them now. And I was doing them when I was like
right.
10, 11, whatever it
Or
was.
they would have one of the things I often remembered was like they would tell you a story, and then part of the story was like a hidden thing, and at the end they would ask you like who in the story did this, but it wasn't a component of the story. It was just something that was mentioned in the story.
Right.
So I always thought that it was kind of like a attention deficit type thing that they were testing us for, but now over the years I realized that no, what they were testing was your ability to interpret a bunch of data. Right. It wasn't they were trying to see that you had ADHD or whatever. They were trying to see if they threw a bunch of data at you, your brain could pull out the relevant nuggets of it. Was what they were trying to do.
And a lot of the gate kids do remember like the stories, interpret what you see, the quiet rooms, the headphones, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's and that's we're seeing a lot of that in the comments on that short.
Yeah.
Is a lot of kids are like, oh man, I remember this and I remember that, and that short is just, pulling kids back, going, wait a stinking minute.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Touchstone, because they haven't thought about it in 40, 50 years.
Right.
40 years.
Yeah. I mean,
and they're like, man, I remember all that, and I hadn't thought about it in forever. And I'm like, well, I don't feel like it was something sinister that was going on. We're not talking about like a top secret government program to take over the world or whatever, but it was definitely something that it was, the government was involved and they were testing for something specific.
Now, did they IQ test you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a 142 IQ. I was actually the highest in the class, which pissed off my best friend at the time because he was 136.
Nice.
I mean, he went on to he went on to do IT and all that kind of stuff, but I was too ADHD for that.
Right.
But, I mean, I remember IQ testing, and like I said, we learned German, and like, it was crazy, man.
Yeah.
It was wild, and I did play a little Oregon Trail on the Apple IIe.
Oh, yeah.
Because literally, they were the only computers in our school.
Right.
Were in the gifted classroom. Because back then, an Apple IIe was like $1,000.
Oh,
you
easy.
know?
Yeah.
So, like, it was a lot of money to have these computers in our school.
Well, it's not like you could go to Best Buy back in the 70s and buy a computer. You had to get it from, like, Apple. You have to write them a letter and mail them a check.
Yeah, pretty much. So what we found out from doing our research, there's stuff like, they call it binaural beats.
Right.
So they would play 2 beats, but your brain would perceive a third one.
Right.
In your ear. And supposedly influence brainwaves.
Right,
You
and that's
know?
how it works. It's like it's out of phase. So the one is like don't follow these numbers, but like the one is like 60 hertz, and the other one is like 100 hertz.
Right.
Then in the middle, you're hearing like a power 40 hertz shift in
Right.
those tones. So you're that's what the goal is to try to activate different hemispheres of your brain at different times, so that when they show you the image, or it enhances your curiosity or enhances your brain function.
And it's the same kind of tones that you would use for like meditation and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff to just relax the brain and that kind of stuff. So what those binary beats do is they make you feel creepy, and it's kind of a sensory isolation type
Yeah.
of situation. So I mean, they alter your perception. They can get time distortion, like all kinds of craziness.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, you can even, because you have your eyes closed a lot of times. You're like the image that you see when you close your eyes. Like that blank state.
Right.
You can actually see like hallucinations in that pattern because of the binaural beats activating different parts of your brain.
I wonder if that sticks with you, because I know that when I go to bed, I can close my eyes, right? And you know how when you close your eyes, you just let your eyes go out of focus.
Right.
But if I look into the darkness, if I try to look deep into the darkness when I close my eyes, I will start to almost hallucinate.
Right.
I will start to see things. And I end up falling asleep faster when I do that. But I actually start to see things in the darkness.
Wow.
So I wonder if that stuff sticks with you.
Yeah.
kind
Well,
of
I
a
bet it
weird
does.
thing.
Because once you learn it, in the Monroe tapes, that's one of the things they talk about is like the enhanced 10 state. So once you learn how to perfect the 10 state, then you wouldn't need the binaural sound, the binaural tones anymore. You could actually just kind of calm down and sit in a chair and activate the 10 state without it. And that's one of their goals, is that you can learn how to do the remote viewing and astral projection and stuff like that without the enhancement of the binaural beats.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And that's something we've talked about too, like out of body experiences and being able to astral travel and that kind of stuff. And with the astral travel, you see an umbilical connected to your body from
Right.
wherever you're at. I've seen things out there, different things where they talk to different people. And as soon as you wonder if you can make it to whatever point you're going to, that's usually when you snap back. When you start to question
Right.
you being there, it pulls you back out of it.
Right.
So as long as you flow with it, it's good. Now, a lot of this stuff was CIA funded.
Yeah.
So, and we've talked multiple times about how the CIA used hallucinogenics to put people in a state,
Right,
and
right. All of that is it goes so much. It's funny when you do as much research as I do into these things, that you start noticing like what I call it the familiar faces patterning, where I'll do research into like the CIA use of hallucinogenics, and then I found papers from Aleister Crowley.
wow, how many
So then-
times have we said that name on the podcast?
And then I found he was connected to the early JPL NASA laboratories.
Right.
So you start drawing these like lines, and the lines just keep getting bigger and bigger, and you're like, well, that person knows this person. And then like Don Milo Duquette was here, and then he teaches this, but then he knows this guy who also does this, and you're like, I'm like that guy with all the strings all over
Strings
the
all over
thing.
the cork board. We're going to have a big cork board in the new studio for
Right.
Bob to put his little stuff together.
Because Aleister Crowley's whole thing was that he would do the ritual magic and then expect all of this grand stuff to happen.
Right.
And then when it didn't, he started turning to drugs. And then he would use drugs and then do the magic, and then it worked, right, for him. So that
Right.
he would see the desired thing. And then people started doing research into it, like the yogis and other people, metaphysicists, and they were like, well, that really does work. Like, you can actually hallucinate your desire in this ritual or whatever it is, the meditation that you're doing.
Well, see, that makes me wonder about the fluoride too,
Right.
because all the fluoride they gave us as in Gen X, every school had the fluoride going on.
Oh, yeah.
And fluoride is a forever chemical that stays in your pineal gland, which the pineal gland is your third eye.
Right.
So
it gets calcified over
Yep.
by the fluoride, and then you can't use it as readily as you could when you were a little kid.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's just the rabbit holes you can go down with this podcast today are just.
That's what I always tell people. I'm like, they're always like, well, you say such crazy stuff. I'm like, I didn't get there. I didn't start at crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, crazy was a destination that I arrived to on the road,
Right.
looking for an answer. Like I didn't look to see like how the CIA and NASA were involved in ritual magic. You know what I
Right.
mean? I was just looking at this person and found out that this person knows this person, and then the two of them were in the same
Program.
Right,
Yeah,
they were
so-
in the same thing, and I was like, well, that's weird. Like, what do they have in common? And then you find out it's perception, perception enhancing, using drugs and vibrations and different signals and all of these things all tied together, singing bowls, and it is a whole weird thing.
And this all actually ties back to Project Stargate, which
Right.
we've talked about multiple times on the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
where the military still use Project Stargate for remote viewing and
Oh, yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And there's declassified documents and stuff out there that you can actually get. And Project Stargate ran for decades, and it's still going
Yeah,
on.
it's still going on right
still
now,
going on right
as a
now.
matter of fact.
Just a little under the table. It is still going on, but and then you have the gateway process, which the CIA reviewed consciousness training.
Yeah, I got that.
They used all the sound and all. What you got over there?
Where's my tape? Here's one of them. There you go.
Oh, there you go. There it is. Is that the one that teaches you how to do remote viewing?
Yeah.
The gateway experience, right on the front. Gateway experience.
There it is.
That's you can still find those.
This is the life of Bob. I can just reach over and grab you some crazy conspiracy theory stuff right off the shelf.
Right? It'll even be better when we have the bookshelves. We'll turn around and be like,
Be like,
"There's a book.
that's it
Look
right
at that."
there.
Oh,
It was listed in a top secret document that was only printed once. It's right there.
It's right there,
on the
yeah.
shelf.
I just, and it's funny that it's all similar named.
Right.
Like Project Stargate, huh? Well,
Right.
well, the gate program,
Well, I
It's
can
like,
tell you that
huh?
that is a thing that the government does, and sometimes businesses get involved in, because I'm going to get in trouble with the censors for this one, but there was a domestic terrorism group called the Weather Underground, and their people who were involved in that are in high levels of government right now, and they wanted to bury that search term, so they created a alternative to the Weather Channel and named it the Weather Underground, so that every 30 minutes there's a post coming out with the search term the Weather Underground, and it buries that so far deep that it'll be on the 60th page of Google results to
That's
find
crazy.
any mention of that.
Speaking of Google results, we're still at the top if you search Xbox Connect Ghost videos.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Right. If you want another funny one, the estate of Disney, of Walt Disney, wanted the rumors of his frozen head to go away, so they created a movie called Frozen, so that whenever you search for Disney Frozen, the idea
movie
of
comes
his severed head in a jar somewhere is pushed so far down the search results that it basically just went away.
Yep.
Now you're going to find out about Olaf and Anya instead of Disney's severed head. So there you go. Google dorking.
So they, if you go back and you look at the gate program, there was zero clarity back in the day, to the public. And it was all similar age groups, young adaptive minds, like fifth grade, basically.
Right.
It was fifth grade is when they pulled us to do the gate. I think.
I think we were in It was younger than that for
Was
us.
it?
Yeah, because we started it when I was still in the grade school down the street, and that's like 1 through 3, I think. So it had to have been like third grade.
Ours was fifth because the fifth grade you split two teachers during the day, Mr. Hilliard and Miss Arnold, and you split those two teachers and you flip flop. And I always got pulled out every Tuesday to go do that. God, I can't believe I remember that Tuesday.
Yeah.
That it was Tuesday. That it just popped into my head, dude.
Right. Isn't that weird how that happened?
And it was like 1:00 on Tuesday, and then you stayed in the gate program until the end of the day, which was 3:30 for us. So that's so weird. I remember that.
Our teacher that taught the gate wasn't one of our teachers, though. He was a teacher in our school, but he wasn't one of our class's teachers.
The funny thing is, it was I remember who taught it was Miss McCarthy, and Mary was actually one of the girls in my class. It was her mom.
Okay.
She was in the gate program along with I want to say I can think of 5, maybe 6 of us total. 1, 2, 3. I think it was 5. I think it was 3 girls and then myself and my buddy that were in it, because we were a small school. We were the big class. We had 30 people in our class, 30 something, and we were the big class. Right, normal classes around that school were like 18 people. So it's small town,
Yeah.
But it's
the
amazing.
Teacher that taught ours, he was an Air Force reservist.
Really?
Yeah. So he was still, I don't want to say active duty, but he was still an active,
right,
person in the Air Force Reserve at the time.
Right. And the reason why they picked kids for this stuff is they're highly suggestible, flexible perception, imagination still active, brain still developing, less skepticism.
Right.
So you're going to want to take a child who hasn't been told a million times there's no monsters under the bed.
Right.
You know what I mean? That they don't believe in this stuff anymore.
Yeah. That's why Vecna was after the little kids in the Stranger Things episode that we talked about last week.
So, memories versus reality. Like I told Bob, the longer I thought about it, because we discussed, like, I think Wednesday we talked about doing this as our podcast. And I thought about it the last couple of days because I wanted to go through some of the stuff and I wanted to try to remember some of the stuff. And it was one of them situations where the longer I thought about it, the more I remembered.
Right, right.
So, and then you said something just before we came on about the logic puzzles. And I remember the logic puzzles. And, it's just, I remember the classroom. There wasn't even a window in that classroom.
No. Where our school was set up, we had like classes in the front, and then there was like what they called like the pod, which was like an added on section in the back. And that section had a band room, which was like for practicing band or whatever, and it didn't have any windows in it. And that's where we always did the gate program.
Ours was just a small room, and there was 6 Apple IIe's.
Yeah.
Right. The door that you came in like the right corner of the room, and then as you came into the left was the teacher's desk, and there was 2 apples on each wall, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was a table in the middle that we all sat around. And we were doing the logic puzzles.
Yeah. And
stuff like that. So.
Yeah, same.
Craziness.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that it was set up kind of the same way too. Right. No windows,
well,
all that stuff.
No that.
I guess it was a no distraction situation.
Yeah.
Because they used to close the door and everything.
I remember bringing that up to my regular teacher that I liked how the student, like we sat in the circle.
Yeah.
So that everybody could face each other, and she didn't like that at all. She's like, no, you sit in a grid.
Right. And it's funny how our discussion of this has made other gate kids
they remember. Well, somebody even said, I remember taking this hearing test with the headphones where you said, I hear on this side, I hear on that side.
It wasn't.
And then somebody responded to that guy, and he's like, no, it's not that. It wasn't that at all. It wasn't a hearing test. You were listening to something, and then they were showing you pictures at the same time. Or in later on, you would just stare at either the white card or the into black space, and then they would play the tones, and then you would. they would try to get you to they would come over the headphones while you were listening to it, and then she would be like, "You see a pyramid, you see
You know what?
this."
Now I remember we used to look at. So have you seen like the cards where they test like where they like hold up the card and say what's on this card?
Yeah, yeah.
With the black square
Right,
and the
with
squish.
the
We did
star.
those.
Yeah, we did that too. The wavy lines and all that. Yeah, that was part of
The
it.
more I think about it, the more I remember about it.
Yeah, she
It's
had
crazy.
like a little. I want to say it's cardboard, but it wasn't. It was some kind of like melamine or whatever, like screen, kinda
Yes.
like a Dungeon Master.
Yeah, like
screen.
a plastic Dungeon Master screen.
and
Yeah.
she would sit there and hold the card up, and then ask you what do
What
you
was
see
on the
it?
card.
Right? And she would try to always throw you off because she like wouldn't look at it sometimes to see if that's what it was, like
Right.
that you were reading her mind and not actually looking at the card.
Right.
So sometimes she would flip the card over and keep staring at me and be like, what's on this card, and to see if I knew it. you
Right.
know.
Wow. It's amazing what you remember once you really, really start digging into your brain.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I did focus training, relaxation techniques, and all kinds of
that
good
was
stuff.
a thing too that we did.
Creative thinking exercises, like I said, the logic puzzles.
Right.
There was a lot of brainstorming. We did a lot of brainstorming puzzles. Like, okay, if this is the problem, how would you get to that? How would you do it?
Right.
So there was a lot of brainstorming exercises.
I remember the one there was like a lever, and the lever was hooked to a rod that was hooked to a like a pulley, and then if you pulled the lever this way, it would move the wheel this way, and then it would pull a rope that would move the weight. And
then which way would this gear turn,
Right.
and which way would that gear turn?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's all a lot of stuff that's on the IQ tests and stuff for that stuff. Like, so I wonder how much like IQ testing stuff we did along with just taking the IQ test.
Right.
So, so it's a real mystery of what they completely figured out. You know what I mean? Because a lot of that stuff is redacted. A lot of that stuff is still stashed away in boxes somewhere in the basement of something in the CIA or whatever.
Well,
so
and you figure like I'm 52. We're 52, right?
Right.
So the young lady who was administering that test to us had to have been in her late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, I think Miss McCarthy was probably
she'd be
close to 30, probably
80 something years
Yeah,
old.
I saw Miss McCarthy a while back. Actually, there was a thing at the school that I went to, and she was there. So crazy what you think about.
But they didn't. It's not like they had a flash drive with all this stuff stored on it.
Right.
It was all handwritten documents, and it was in binders and stuff.
Like you said with the purple. What was that? The printed purple stuff.
Oh yeah, the mimeograph.
Mimeograph.
Yeah.
Do you know that? So I actually learned that they made that smell to be pleasing.
Really?
That's another rabbit hole. Go down that one. They made that smell to be pleasing.
Wow.
So
That's fun.
That's wild. So, well, we hope we jog some memories of you guys that have gone through the GATE program when you were younger, and we hope we open some eyes of the people who their classmates went off to the GATE program to see what actually went on and took place in those gifted programs at the schools during our time frame. So,
I was secretly hoping that I could be like Drew Barrymore in Firestarter. Like, that's what I wanted, man.
Right? That'd be awesome. There you go. But so we appreciate you guys coming in and supporting us. Don't forget, if you want to check Bob out on the Book of Faces, you could. We have the Veritas Project on Facebook. Don't forget you could talk chit chat in the Discord.
Yeah.
If you want to follow us on Patreon, the $0 level will get you into the credits at the end of Patreon. Mm-hmm. Just go find the Veritas Project on Patreon. If you pay $5 a month, then you will get a postcard from us every month. Bob and I sign it, and Angie writes you a nice note because, like Bob and I always say, our handwriting's horrible. You could not read it if we tried to write you that message. And I will gladly admit that.
Yeah.
But is there anything else? Don't forget our partnership with Dubby.
Yeah. Get you some energy use.
Yep. That is good stuff. I was drinking it the other day, and I was looking at it the other day, and it's 0 calories. You know, all that stuff. It's little bitty scoops. They literally use only what they need to use.
Yep.
It is good stuff. You know, they don't use the fake vitamin B. They use the good stuff, and all. It's good stuff, guys. Their whole thing is it's a cleaner energy drink.
Right.
So
It tastes good.
Yep. Use keyword whole truth to get 10% off a Dubby. Let's see what else. Oh, if you want some cool merch.
Yeah, you can buy all the merch. We got cool stuff.
Yep. On Printify.
Printify.
So go on there, grab you some shirts and mugs and stickers and all that good stuff. So
Totes.
Yep. You got totes on there now?
Take our tote to the grocery store so you don't use them bags and kill
There
a
you
turtle.
go. There you
Save
go.
the turtles. Buy one of our totes.
There you go. There you go. Show your love of the grocery store. So make people ask, like, what's that?
Man, what is that? Well, it's my favorite podcast. Those guys are awesome.
That'd be cool. I'm still waiting to be recognized in the streets.
Yeah.
So, but thank you guys for joining us again on the podcast, our deep dive into the GATE program.
Yeah.
And, thank for you guys watching us over here on TikTok. Don't forget, guys, like, comment, share, ring the notification bell, all that good stuff here on the YouTubes. And remember,
stay curious
and find the truth, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
See ya.